So, no hashtag no wrong path. Paul, coming to you first. GCSEs or A levels, what comes to mind on exam results day, and where were you, and which one do you want to pick? A levels or GCSEs? And I know you did A levels because I know a little bit about your story, so I'm dropping you a little bit in that one.
Well, so they were all, as I remember, fairly underwhelming. I don't think I'd ever been predicted to be top of sort of many classes. I did okay, but I didn't stand out. I was particularly average pretty much everywhere in academia. So I had no real shine and no real direction when I sort of finished either of them, I'm afraid.
Did that bother you at that time? Do you remember, or were you sort of quite relaxed about everything at that point?
I vaguely remember thinking that maybe I should have done better, or I wanted to have done better, but I think I was more bothered by the fact that I didn't know what on earth I wanted to do. I had this broad spectrum of kind of average GCSEs and nothing stood out. And by the end of school, I had a very kind of vague direction of where I wanted to go. My careers officer had come up with virtually nothing that excited me, and I had to just sort of default to what I enjoyed doing, which at the time was music. Right. And I then left school and I went and studied A-level music technology, music history, and I think photography, because I had to have 3. And that just kind of pushed me down a path of at least something, because I didn't have anything else that I thought, well, this is where I'm going to spend the next 30 years of my life.
So it was music.
Yeah, it was music.
I knew that bit either. So, okay. So then when you went to university, what did you study at university?
So by the time I got to the end of A-levels, it was the same story. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And now I had these music A-levels. And so by the end of sort of the last year of my college years, they were saying, well, you should go to university and study music. You're on this path now. And I kind of went, all right, fair enough. The path of least resistance was in front of me, and they said you need to play 5 instruments, go and learn 3 others, and then if you kind of pass that, you'll get into university on a music degree. So that's what I went and did.
Okay, so and just to clarify, so we'll just bring that in now. Paul is now part of Team BRIT and is a racing driver. So we are not a musician and we're not in a band. Are you in a band?
No. So long story short, I went to study music at Kingston University in London, and by the end of year 1, hated it. Didn't want to be around music, didn't like the people on the course, was struggling other things in my life, which kind of made it more complicated to kind of be up in London, and just didn't enjoy it. And I thought, what am I going to be at the end of it? Either a music teacher or in a band. And I didn't really want to do either of those things. So that fell on its face really quite quickly.
So after year 1 at uni, then what happens?
So I got on the phone to all of my friends that were at the universities who had all sort of left at the same time as me and had gone off to do engineering and kind of other things. And without any direction, I phoned them up and said, look, what's your university like? I don't like my university. I don't like my course. What is the uni like? What's the bar like? What's the nightlife like? What are the people like? And the best answer I got was a friend at UEA studying mathematics, perhaps. And I thought, right, okay. I phoned UEA and I said, look, this is where I'm at. What can I do? And they said, well, what do you do apart from music? I said, well, kind of like engineering, quite like computers. I'm studying, music technology. And they said, well, we could get you on an engineering course. If you come along and do a foundation year, you could switch to engineering. And I sort of said, job done. Okay, I'll pack my bags here. And I literally packed everything I owned into the back of a Volkswagen Golf and drove up to UEA. I think I camped for the first few nights because they had no accommodation for me. So I found a campsite, and I just started going to this foundation year. And I just wanted to get as far away from the kind of bad decision that I'd made. So I restarted, as it were, up at UEA.
That's so we're in year 1 at UEA, yeah?
Yeah, year 1 doing a foundation degree because they said, because I've only got a musical background, they didn't trust me to hop on an engineering degree. So they said, you've got to do a year of physics, chemistry, biology, maths, which is, it's only a year, I can get up to that. So I spent a year doing that, passed that, only just. My heart probably wasn't in it as much as I thought it would have been. really enjoyed the other side of going to university, the sort of the socializing, the kind of making new friends, that kind of moving away from home. That's the bit I kind of really valued.
Okay.
And work was almost a ticket to that lifestyle. So I probably did just enough to get by, but not a lot more.
Okay. But it didn't stay there, did it? So I'm keen to. I can't remember the year it all changed, because we didn't stay at UAE, did you?
No, so I did my foundation year, and then did year 1 and year 2. And by that point, I moved in with 2 lovely ladies off of campus in a little house share. And there was a careers evening, and one of them said, I really want to go to this careers evening. I think I might want to join the army. As a vet, as it turns out, she was doing veterinary course up at UEA. Would you come and hold my hand? I don't want to go on my own. I think this is, pretty scary, and I'm not quite sure. So will you come along to this careers evening at the army? And I said, yeah, maybe, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And it was a real knife edge decision. I wanted to go to bed. I wanted to do something else. And in the end, I thought I should be a good housemate and go along. And I did. And had a lovely time, met some lovely people, heard all about what the army was like and what you could do and kind of who it was for. And the long story short is that she ended up not joining, and I ended up joining there and then. So that was history, really.
How old were you then?
I would have been early 20s, I think, at that point. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Wow. So within about 4 years, we've gone from musician to engineer to now being in the army.
Yeah. Yeah, there was and for the first time, things started to feel right. Up to that point, I had just been going through the motions of leaving home, discovering who I was, struggling with kind of all of that personality side of things, and the career was almost just a ticket into sort of finding who I was and kind of just getting by until that happened.
Fab. Thank you. I think that from there really is no wrong path, and this is why I love this campaign so much, because you can move that whole thing of you camping and number one, picking up the phone to other universities and saying, what else have you got? Brilliant. And then camping because there's no accommodation. I mean, this really, there's some really good characteristics in there which showcase of let's get on and do, brilliant. Thank you.